Hello, welcome back. This is Send Him Off. My name is Sam, and joining me, as always, is my ever-present podcasting partner,
Mate,
Alex. Why is it making you laugh?
I don't know. Today I just got the giggles every time you do your your intro.
We've done this for nearly
It
2 years now, and you've never
Yeah,
laughed.
I know. I'm like a little naughty boy at the back of the class. But anyway, we're not alone. Sam, this is just so repetitive, isn't it? Just do your thing, whatever. Come on.
You could sound a bit excited, Al.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of it.
The turn of Aston Villa today, and joining us as our Villa representative. That came out nearly very wrong. Is Billy from the Total Screamers pod. Billy, thank you for joining us. How's things, mate?
Pleasure, mate. I'm good, sir. How yourselves?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Looking forward to the new season.
What were you gonna say? What were you gonna say just then?
Me?
Did you need to get Billy's name mixed up with something else? Yeah.
No, I nearly said a rude word instead of representative. If you think about the syllables in that, then you can see how it nearly came out wrong.
I'm going to ask you after. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. Any case,
let's talk about.
I thought you were going to call him Willie, to be honest. But there we go.
No, let's talk about Aston Villa.
I've had that plenty over the years.
I've had worse. Right. Anyway,
flipping heck. Villa.
I've not last had season. Plenty. I've had the name.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Hey, there's no judgment on this podcast, Billy. Right?
Yeah, that's
none whatsoever.
What a start.
If you swing that way, go for it.
It is what it is.
What you got up to in the whole end's your business, mate. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, so Villa, season.
Right, last season, yes. What was last season? Finish.
It was a bit disappointing, but it was also a bit up and down. I think the damage was kind of done under Dean Smith, really. I think if you look at the table when Gerrard came in, I think we ended up 9th from the period of time that Gerrard was in there. So the damage was pretty much already done under Dean Smith, which is sad to say. I obviously wish Dean Smith very well. He's done fantastic things for the club. But yeah, it was just a very turbulent season. We had a few ups, few downs, very inconsistent along the way. For a lot of the season, we were a one-half team. Whether it was the first half, the second half, we'd perform, and then whichever one we'd performed in, we were just horrendous in the other one. So yeah, it was a frustrating season all in all. One that I think a lot of Villa fans thought that that was the season that we was going to start to really push for European football. Obviously didn't happen, but yeah, I'm feeling positive with the signings that we've made going into this new season, that we can at least get a top half finish. Yeah, I think that's the aim for us anyway this season, just finishing the top half. From my personal point of view, it is anyway. If the Gerrard and the players want to dream higher, then so be it. I'm not going to stop them.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's impossible.
No, well, I was about to say, I'm looking at the signings now, and some of these are signings of a Champions League club. Diego Carlos, Philippe Coutinho, Kamara. I think those are big signings, and and to be honest, you haven't spent a lot. That's what, 46 million on those three players.
I've been really impressed with the signings that we've made. If you look at, like you say, the teams that they've just come from as well, every one of them would be playing Champions League football had they've stayed at their clubs. And they both had bigger offers, I believe. I think we beat Atletico Madrid to Boubacar Kamara. I'm sure there were plenty of other suitors that would have taken Diego Carlos, but the Steven Gerrard pull and the pull of the project as well helped us get them to over the line in really important positions as well. Centre defence, especially with Tyrone Mings. I mean, he's a top bloke, but he's just not good enough for the level that we want to be playing.
That's my favourite thing anyone ever says. When they not fast on one of their own, they are lovely bloke, but just can't cut it or whatever. They don't want to slate him because he's a nice guy, but
I know I've said many things about Tyrone Mings over the years in my hot-headed mess. But yeah, he's just not good enough to take us to the next step where we want to go. So we've addressed that position. Defensive midfield has been a position as well that we've we've needed to tackle for several years now. We needed that big. We as Villa fans, we'd always said that we needed that big, the big presence in defensive midfield, that no nonsense player. I don't think Kamara's necessarily that, but what he can do is break up the play, and he can read the game well as well. And only 22 years old, we can also mould him into what we want him to be. So, I mean, the fact that we've beaten Atletico Madrid to his signature just says a lot, to be honest with you. And he's, I mean, as everyone knows, really, he's such a highly rated player. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he adapts this season, and hopefully, along with Diego Carlos, of course, he can take us to that next level.
Just briefly, while we're on the talking point, was taking the armband off Tyrone Mings and giving it to John McGinn something that needed to happen?
I think so, yeah.
Because he's a lovely bloke at the end of the day. He's a really nice guy.
He's as I tweeted out the other day, he's a great ambassador for the club in the things that he does off the pitch anyway. Not so much on the pitch. But yeah, I think the captaincy needs to be given to someone who's going to be playing week in, week out. I mean, the Villa fan base has been very split on whether John McGinn was the right guy to take over from him, because again, he's another player who's very inconsistent. I mean, can be a fantastic player on his day, but can also go missing in important games, could go missing in big games, but there's always that chance that he can come out of nowhere and score a worldie or something like that. And I mean, his work rate and the bulldog-like midfielder he is kind of speaks for itself. Saying that, I think he's a fantastic player to have as captain. You know, he's well liked. He's a funny bloke to have around the.
He's a good bloke as well, is he?
Oh, yeah, he's a top bloke.
Full of jokers.
That's the main thing. That's what you need in a football club, a load of jokers. But yeah, I don't know whether he's necessarily the right person to properly take it forward and to be the club captain for another 5 or so years or however long. But I think he's probably the right guy to take it up now. You know, he knows what a captain needs to be, and who better to choose who the captain is going to be than arguably one of the greatest ever Premier League captains anyway.
Yeah. Fair enough. Right.
So, key player this season. Are you going? I've got an inkling that a certain Felipe Coutinho is going to be the key Brazilian guy that you're going to say. Is that right, or is there anybody else you're looking to this season to really, really spearhead it and carry it forward?
I'm hedging my bets on the new guys, to be honest with you. I think Boubacar Kamara is going to be massively important for us. I think Carlos as well is going to be massively important for us. I think Emi Martinez is going to be important for us. Just basically the spine of the team. I know it's a very obvious thing to say, but I think we've got a very good spine. With Ollie Watkins up front, I mean, he's hired himself a finishing coach as well, and I've got high hopes for him this season. Already predicted several times he's going to get 18 plus goals this season. Whether he will or not is a different story.
It's just gone straight to my fantasy team. There we are.
Yeah, I think a bit of Villa fan bias in there.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think the main one to watch out for is probably Buendia, you know, because particularly towards the end of last season, I mean, he wasn't really getting the starts that his performances off the bench probably deserved. I also think that was down to Gerrard wanting to give Coutinho time to play the Coutinho way, and also to entice him more to join the club. So I think if we would have been benching Coutinho for Buendia, although it may have been a better thing for the club, we may not have Coutinho's signature now, and he may be at Newcastle, for example. Not too sure. but yeah, so I think that was kind of in the thinking towards the end of last season. But Wendy is such a special player. He's got that doggedness about him as well. He'll fight anyone. And he's also a bit of a magician when he's on the ball as well. The way that he plays, he spots passes. He's just a really good footballer. And he took a bit of time to get used to his surroundings. He was a bit underwhelming for large parts of last season, but particularly towards the end, he really, really impressed me. And I think he's going to be one hell of an important player for us this season.
Interesting. So those are the key players. What about your unsung heroes? Yeah, like sort of an underrated player. Might go under the radar a little bit.
Luke Dean.
Nice.
Okay.
Interesting that. Because at Everton he was like the star guy really for a while.
Yeah. I think the fact that we've got so many, the two new signings are just going to take the headlines, I think, along with your Coutinho's and your Watkins. And I think you could also include Matty Cash in here as well, maybe. I think the wing backs are such an important role, play such an important role in Gerrard's style of play, that the philosophy that he wants to play anyway. And I think, I mean, you saw Luke Dean last season. He was such a massive upgrade on target that I think a lot of neutral football fans didn't really think that he would be. But yeah, from watching Target week in, week out to now watching Luke Dean week in, week out, I mean, the comparisons they're just incomparable to how much better of a player he is, to be honest with you. And his delivery is just phenomenal.
Perfectly. The comparisons are incomparable. It's
poetic.
Wonderful.
That's
it is
poetic,
genuinely. I'm gonna get that
on a t-shirt.
On a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I actually are.
Tattoo.
I will. I'll get it like there or something. It's for life.
Tattoos have been a theme this.
Yeah,
week,
we have. We're trying to get. What was it? Newcastle.
Yeah. Hodgie from Newcastle.
We're trying to get. Yeah.
If they get Champions League, Hodgie. We've met on here once, right, or twice now. If we've never met him in real life. He's a man who lives in Newcastle, has never met us in person. Nobody he knows us. We're not particularly, well, nobody knows who we are, do they?
Nobody knows who we are. We are no ones.
If they get Champions League football, Hodgie is having tattoos of us on his arse cheeks. One on each cheek.
I've got to be honest, lads. I think he's safe, to be honest with you.
Yeah. We're crossing our fingers. Our fingers.
We are. Right.
Anyways. Back to it. Yeah. Right. So your expectation, not necessarily like, what your prediction is, but what would you take? Like come the end of the season, come May, what would you be like? You know what? I'll take that. That's fair enough. So if the season had to end now, before it's even started, what'll do for you?
Top 10 instantly.
Top 10. Okay.
Yeah, I think just securing that top 10 position is so important for us. I was at the end of last season, I was a bit gutted that we'd finished so far down. I think that particularly that mid-table battle was kind of up for grabs. Everyone was taking points off everyone, and it was anyone's really to finish anywhere. And the fact that on the last day I don't know whether we was in the top half, but we were certainly around like 11th, and then we finished 14th. It was a bit of a kick in the teeth, and I was a bit down in the dumps, if you like. Why is anyone going to want to join a team that's just finished 14th? But so securing that top 10, I think it's a lot more appealing for bringing in players as well. And players are going to want to play for a team that's fighting for top 10 and pushing that European place. So ask me right now, I'll snap your hands off for a top 10 finish, to be honest with you. If we can get even higher, then fantastic, brilliant. But I just want to see 10th Aston Villa come May, to be honest with you. I'll be a very, very happy man.
Right. So that's where you'll be happy with. Can you give us a prediction? A realistic prediction. Put your neck on the line. You've already told us Ollie Watkins is getting 18 goals. But where are they going to finish?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm going to say 10th. I'm going to play it safe, but not too safe.
Okay. No, yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm going to say 10th. it's so hard to break into that top six anyway. And I think Wolves and West Ham in particular, they've kind of cemented themselves up there. Signing of Skamaka, I think his name is as well.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a top player, so we'll see how he gets on. But I just think that the fight, that, like I said, that mid-table gap is just anyone's to take, really.
Yeah, totally.
And it's just such a hard league to compete in now. You know, I know it's very cliche to say, and it's been going on for years, that it's such a hard league. But I just think it's stronger than ever, to be honest, especially with all the money in that now. You know, it really is. It's just, I've already said it. It's as strong as it's ever been, stronger than it's ever been, really.
Yeah, definitely.
I firmly think they will. I firmly think that's a pretty safe.
I think it's a good season as well, to be honest. I think middle of the road.
Definitely.
I'd be happy with that if I was in your position. Right, Billy, we have run out of time, but thank you so much for joining us, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
Thanks for jumping on.
Best of luck to be here, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, mate. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you, where they can listen to the pod?
Yeah, so you can follow me at AVBilly on Twitter. You can follow the Total Screamers at Total Screamers, and we're on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your platforms, you'll be able to find us. So go over there, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a review, do whatever you want to do, but just make sure you listen to us.
Lovely.
Simple
Lovely stuff.
There
we are. Simple instructions.
Awesome.
Thank you again, mate. Been a pleasure. Alex, always a pleasure, mate, isn't it? Always a pleasure.
On to the next.
Onward we go. And hopefully we'll see you there, guys. I think Liverpool is next. So that'll be quite an interesting one, top of the table. So, we shall see. See you next time. And thanks for listening. Ta-ra.
Take care.